All right, so back to this. Making this black screen video from my car, right? Completely unrelated to the topic at hand, but it's been a hot minute since I've done this. At least in the car. But the big thing with there, and again, moving on, and what this goes into is the topic at hand, right? And that is, again, Pokemon Reborn, and as you can tell by this, the hiatus, right? Again, and the reason I call it a hiatus rather than I guess, retirement or, retreat or whatever, a dropping of the series is because I'm not dropping the series, right? If you've watched some of my recent parts, I've been, what's a good way to put it, right? I've had my qualms and, issues with the game, and I have debated dropping it because of that, given how seemingly early we are in it, despite the fact that we're like 20 odd parts in. However, I'm not going to, right? And reason being is that I'm committing to it. In worst case scenario, I could just figure out a way to use cheats, or just, really kind of grind at it. But again, so not completely dropping it or completely letting it go. And then again, that raises the question of why am I going on a hiatus? For a few reasons. One, partially because I need a break, right? Again, this series, for lack of a better term, has been pissing me off, so I'm just need a break from it. Two, I'm at a good stopping point. Seemingly, once we beat Shade, it's going to be, then that'll allow us to explore the rest of the region, right? And get out of Reborn City, right? With all the wards. So I feel as though that's a pretty good stopping point at this point of the game, right? Or at this point, right? At the point we're at. So pretty good stopping point and pausing point. And the reason why I'll need to stop and pause is very shortly here, I'm going to be going on like a 2-week, vacation's a horrible word. A 2-week work-related, what would you call it? I don't even want to call it trip. Just motorcycle in the background. Basically, I'm going to be going out doing field work or what's the term, field, I don't even know. I can't figure out a good way to put it, but basically I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, right, due to work. So, and this is going to be coming up, I don't want to say soon, in like a week, closer to like 2, but there's also going to be prep and stuff, built into that, right? Again, so really the big thing with that is, all right, I'm at a good stopping point now, so I'm going to cut my losses and stop right here. I'm probably going to try to do a Civ game before that, which, again, I think, I'll probably have the first part up later today. But really, again, in terms of Reborn, right, I'm making the decision to start my hiatus now, since we're at a good stopping point and a good time for me to stop. And then once I'm done with my 2-week, once I'm done with my 2 weeks away for work, right, I'll come back and then continue Reborn. And then hopefully rejuvenated with the energy to actually kind of, grind the series out, right? And kind of maybe be able to commit more. I think just for some self-awareness, and I kind of, again, this is funny enough, was something that was discussed during my Take-Two playthrough with Halababica. Again, full transparency, I work full-time, right? In the games that I play pretty much purely for entertainment. Like, I'm not big into, like, the whole, and part of the issue I have with indie is it's become a whole, like, pseudo-intellectual thing, right? Where it's not about enjoyment and entertainment more than, like, again, this weird sense of superiority, like, based on what games you play and being an intellectual. Completely, that's more so indie, but I'd say, because, again, it also has to do with the idea of, greater difficulty means better experience, or more so better game, right? And I think that's what kind of got me sucked into the Reborn line. But again, not only is not necessarily, the case, not necessarily like, again, but B, because I play games mostly for entertainment and enjoyment, a harder fan game for me doesn't necessarily mean a more enjoyable experience, right? Like, the two aren't synonymous. And I think that's something that I don't want to say the creators of the game got wrong, because they designed their game in their way, right? Like, they had their vision that they built it off of. It's just, I'm not the primary target audience, right? So, and I think what pisses me off is just of the way it is made difficulty and challenging wise, similar to, like, let's say Deity Civ, rather than, rather than, let's say, have better AI, or, have, the field mechanics are interesting, but it's more so like a gamey situation, right? And especially with, like, a lack of healing as well as level cap, rather than it have, all right, you have these, like, pretty well scripted, structured battles, that are, again, push you to your limits, right? And force you to use certain, strategies that you wouldn't ordinarily use. Instead, it's like, all right, we have these gamey field mechanics, and we have these limiters that you have as the player, right? Which is all right. But again, the big thing there is that I think what's going to happen is just when I come back, I might either A, need to completely rebuild my team, because I think my team kind of sucks, and I think that's part of the reason why I've been having issues, or just be a lot more strategic with how I approach this. Again, but I guess we'll see. That'll be something I answer and decide when I get back. But in the meantime, I'm going to take the hiatus, play a save game, and then when I come back, I'll be ready to hit the ground running because of, again, work-related absences, and that we're at a good time to stop. But with that, I don't really have anything else to say. So, yep, that's it for this one. See you in the next one.